Hey there, thanks for joining me for another episode of New Day with Ashley. If you're looking for inspiration to make a difference and create lasting impact, then you're in the right place. Get ready to be encouraged by the stories of my guests who have taken risks, overcome challenges, and created opportunities. It's time to make the most of your new day. When it comes to healthcare, my guest today is pushing the boundaries of functional medicine in the Red River Valley. Trevor Hausauer, a family nurse practitioner, is the founder and owner of Valley Vital Medicine. Trevor offers his patients a new way to find the root cause of their symptoms and get them to feel and function their best. Well, welcome to New Day, Trevor. So great to have you here.
Thanks so much for having me. It's fun to be able to do this first podcast for me. So that's
awesome.
Yeah,
well, that's good. I mean, you do all these webinars.
That's true.
I figured you'd podcasted. No.
No. This is a whole new realm for me. So
Okay.
looking forward to it.
Well, nothing too scary here. So
Okay, keeping it chill.
yeah.
Yeah. Good.
So, you have your own practice, Valley Vital Medicine, but tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah. So Trevor Hausauer, family nurse practitioner, certified in functional medicine.
And so maybe what even does that mean?
Yeah.
Family nurse practitioner,
So
certified in functional medicine, lots of big terms.
Yeah. So as a nurse practitioner, a lot of people think of their primary care doctor that they go to see at one of the major health organizations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as a nurse practitioner, we start out as a registered nurse, and then we can pick a track to continue our education. And so as a nurse practitioner, we can go on and we can just do advanced additional education.
Sure.
So that we're able to know how to evaluate people, make a diagnosis, and then create a treatment plan. And so what that allows us to do then in the conventional medicine setting, it allows us to see people as a primary care or as a specialist, depending on where we're working at, and provide a care plan and a diagnosis and a care plan. So, really got interested in medicine quite a while ago, actually, because my brother, when I was growing up, he had some disabilities. And, those disabilities took us to a lot of different medical facilities.
Okay.
And so we spent time at University of Minnesota and Mayo Clinic. And so we got to see kind of the good, the bad, the ugly in regards to, these experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, some of the medical providers were amazing, right? They did great things, had great bedside manner. They talked to you in a respectful way and explained things well and leave a really positive experience. Some of the other medical providers is totally opposite, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And it's really frustrating and really sad, and you leave those experiences feeling just almost defeated.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And so
Not heard, not seen, yeah.
Yeah, not heard, not seen, and just poorly communicated to, and not really having a good sense of what in the world did he even say? And sometimes
couldn't understand,
demeaned,
yeah.
right?
Sure.
Or you just feel like you feel just super tiny,
Mm-hmm.
And so as I kind of went through the process of feeling out what I wanted to do, I said, I want to help people be able to feel heard. I want them to feel seen. I want them to feel validated. And I want to do what I can to help people in an effective way.
Sure.
And so went to school and got my nursing degree.
That was a young age then. Yeah, you kind of had that calling.
Yeah. And so spent a lot of time in the medical realm then growing up and just kind of seeing how things went, and actually did a lot of care for my brother too. He had surgeries and needed help and medications and that kind of stuff. So was there a lot as a part of that. And then as I continued to grow up, it's just trying to figure out how I could give back in that way. And so as I was going to college, tried to figure out what I wanted to do. Of course, got into the nursing realm. Ended up being a good fit in that regard. Did some ER and ICU nursing, and see a lot of things, help a lot of people, right. and some people that aren't helpable too, because they're not ready for it.
Sure.
But then as you kind of get into the system, you start figuring out, oh man, these people are coming into the ER. They're coming into the ICU, and they're sick. All right, but why are no? I mean, some of those people, right? They get in an accident.
Sure.
And they need to be there. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're there for. We want to help those people. But what about those people who are chronically sick from lifestyle issues?
Sure.
Right? They're not taking care of themselves. They're not eating right. They're not exercising. Their stress is out of control. And they end up coming into the ICU, the ER, because whatever their chronic concern is exacerbated.
Sure.
And so as I started seeing this, I kind of got a little frustrated with it and said, well, how can I help these people from getting to this point? Right? Because it's like, well, working in the ER and the ICU is not a good way of helping keep people from getting there because you're already at that location. And so I figured out, hey, you know what? Being a nurse practitioner is a great place to be as a next step. Because then I can see them outside of the hospital setting, develop a relationship with those people, help encourage them in the right direction so that they can make those positive choices in their health. And as they make those choices, they're less likely then to need those services. So that really was the ultimate goal and kind of took me down that direction.
Yeah, and then the functional medicine part of that too is a little different than other people might take, right?
Yeah, it is. Oh, definitely. In fact, there's a few providers around town who are, work in a functional medicine-esque direction, right? I mean, there's chiropractors, there's naturopathic doctors, which are kind of what a lot of people would consider more of the traditional functional medicine type providers. But one of my mentors, actually my clinical instructor while I was going to nurse practitioner school, her name is Rhonda Jolliffe, and she's a nurse practitioner out in Bismarck. Has her own practice out there, and we would go through case studies as a part of school and talk about, well, what's going on with this person? How would we go about evaluating them? What would be our diagnosis and our treatment? And at the end, she would either agree or disagree.
Sure.
And then say, yeah, and sometimes I would think about adding this. And sometimes that this was something simple, like ashwagandha, rhodiola, some adaptogenic herbs, or
all
magnesium.
Good for stress, right? No.
Yeah, absolutely. They're 100% good for stress, but do a ton of other things in the body, and just with hormone balance and just overall health, right? So
using natural.
Yes, more natural stuff that we don't have to worry as much about our body not knowing what to do with and seeing as many side effects. And so as I listened to her and these kind of other things to consider, I asked her, I said, well, where in the world are you coming up with this? Right? Because this is not in the textbook.
Yeah, I didn't read about that. Yeah.
And so she turned me on to the Institute for Functional Medicine.
Okay.
So I started looking at their website and reading some of their material, and I went, oh, now this is cool. Because this is taking what we see every day in people, and it's looking at it in a whole new framework.
Sure.
It's not looking at things as though you're sick, we need to make a diagnosis, and here's your pill. Your pharmaceutical pill because it meets this diagnosis criteria. The functional medicine model kind of flips that on its head and says not just what kind of disease does this person have, but it's more about what kind of person has this disease.
Okay.
Okay? So what that means is like, well, where is the imbalance in this person that leads to the dysfunction?
Yeah, to the symptom or...
Yeah, exactly. And so if we're trying to figure that out, well, now it opens up a whole new realm of not just trying to figure out, well, what's your diagnosis? Here's your pill, but what is leading to where you're at now? And so we think about, well, what's your digestive health? Do you have infection in your gut? Do you have an overgrowth of parasites? How about yeast? Thinking about the bacterial balance, thinking about the immune status of the gut, the inflammation, how well we're digesting, and not just and also what you eat.
Right.
But not just what you eat, but also how you eat.
How and when.
Yeah, I mean, it all plays
Right.
a major role in all of those things
Yeah,
too.
services.
Yeah, we do. And one of the things that I love about Valley Vital Medicine and what we're able to do is that because we are outside of the conventional medicine model, it allows us to look at the technology that's available and the research that's been done and bring therapies to this area that they've been around for a long time, but nobody's doing them. And they are so effective and so helpful. One of them is ozone therapy. There's like 4,000 published medical studies in PubMed on ozone therapy. It's incredibly safe. It's safer than taking an aspirin.
And so what does ozone therapy do?
Ozone has a lot of medical benefits. So you can use ozone in several different ways, actually. So it's a gas. So oxygen, of course, is O2, right? Ozone is O3. And so we actually have a pure oxygen tank, and it's hooked up to a generator, a medical generator, and it takes that oxygen and converts it from O2 to O3. So that O3 then carries a lot of potential energy. And so if we put it into the body, that extra oxygen molecule, because it's unstable and has that energy, comes off the O2 and superoxygenates the area. It also creates a little oxidative stress. So oxidative stress is a good thing in a controlled manner. Okay, so a lot of oxidative stress over a long time is not good. But it's like exercising, right? So if you exercise, you break down your muscles to make them stronger. Well, that's kind of how oxidative stress works in the body, in that it improves the immune system and how it functions by stressing it.
Okay.
Okay, so if we take ozone and put it in the body, that extra oxygen molecule super oxygenates that area, encourages stem cells to go to that area, encourages regeneration. It's also
Is that what keeps us young? Regeneration? I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
In a way.
Kind of.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it encourages your body to just
Heal, repair.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So we can use ozone in many different ways. One of them is for pain. So we can actually do a procedure, what we call prolozone. So, for example, if somebody has low back pain, neck pain, knee pain, shoulder, kind of all over the body, we can actually take a mixture of nutrients. So I use a little bit of procaine, which is a mild anesthetic, but it helps change cell potential to better allow for healing as well. Okay, so I use some B12, folic acid, some dextrose. In that mixture of nutrients, we actually inject into the area where there's pain. Okay, so once that's injected, I actually take the syringe off, and then I take a syringe of ozone gas, and I hook that up to the needle. The needle stays in place, and I inject that in as well. And so with that, you're getting the healing power of oxygen directly to where that site of pain is, and seeing amazing results with this.
Wow.
So people that have, one of the people I saw back in the office yesterday has been struggling with plantar fasciitis, right? So when she came into the clinic, she could hardly walk on her foot, but I think she came back for her third injection yesterday, and it's 99% better.
Wow.
And she's been dealing with this for years, and has tried tons of other things to include therapy and podiatry, evals, and all the things.
Wow.
And nothing's worked. And this has been helpful.
Yeah.
People's knee pain goes away, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain. I mean, I get to see this stuff every day, which is so fun. The new normal in healthcare right now is, I feel horrible, right? I feel like crap. I don't feel like getting out of bed in the morning. I'm tired all the time. I'm stressed to the hilt. My gut hurts. I got gas, bloating. I got loose stools. I don't even know the last time I pooped, or I'm pooping 3 times a day.
Right, yeah.
And I just can't control it. But your lab work is normal. You're fine. Go home. Maybe we'll start you on some antidepressants.
Sure. It's in your head. No.
It's in you. Well, and that's what some people are told. I
Are
see
led to
that
believe,
all
yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's so much more to it than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sad to me that these people are not listened to. They're not validated in their concerns and try to figure out, well, what really is the difference?
Yeah. If they don't feel like themselves, they know they don't feel well. There's something there. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it's as simple as a gluten-free diet.
Yeah.
I've had people that have come in with huge digestive concerns, body aches all over the place, headaches, and I send them home like, hey, let's do an elimination diet and get rid of these most commonly inflamed foods. And they'll come back a month later and be like, I'm healed. They feel better.
Right. I feel
everything's
great.
gone. Everything's gone. And so it's like, but other medical professionals will tell them, hey, you know what? We did lab tests looking for celiac disease, and it was negative. You don't have that. So it doesn't matter if you eat gluten or not. People know better.
Yeah.
They're like, you're full of bunk. Because I don't eat gluten and I feel good. I eat gluten and I feel horrible.
Yeah.
So why
My
would
stomach does something. Yeah.
Why would I go back to eating gluten? And,
Right.
there's no daily requirement for gluten.
Right. Yeah.
You don't have to eat
You aren't
gluten.
gluten deficient?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No. And in fact, grains in general.
Yeah.
There's no daily requirement of grains or carbohydrates.
Sure. Yeah.
You need veggies, you need fruit, you need lean protein, good healthy fats. But beyond that, like all this other stuff that we make, like we don't need that stuff.
Sure.
And generally is really bad for people's health. So, I mean, kind of this never-ending, cycle of fighting against the machine,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you're fighting against big pharma, when you're fighting against big ag, right? And big grocery, right? And the cereals and all the garbage that they put out there, like this stuff is killing people.
If we leave food as is, yeah. I mean, it in its natural state,
and people don't know what to do.
Right.
So one other thing I'd like to talk about is this program that I put together now called the Vital Reset.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because this program so we've been doing this now for like 9 months.
Okay.
And has been absolutely life-changing for many people. So.
And how long? So it's a reset.
Yes.
And how long is the reset?
So the reset's a 10-week long program.
Okay.
And the nice thing about this program is it's an online program.
Okay.
So in other words, they don't have to come to the office to do this. We
Sure.
don't have to do lab work. We don't have to do any of the things. Now, I will tell people they have to be careful, though. And there's some prerequisites as far as some health concerns. And so I
Sure.
go over that with people and talk to them about that.
Make sure that they're a fit for the program.
Yeah, right. But so many people are overweight. Their hormones are imbalanced, and they just don't know how to go about getting metabolically healthy.
Sure.
And I've worked with so many people who have gained weight, and they're like, where did this weight come from? I have no idea how I got it, and I can't get rid of it.
Sure.
So people with concerns like diabetes,
Mm-hmm.
right? PCOS. These are hard conditions for people to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had worked with people on diet changes before and been really pretty impressed with like, hey, we can get you feeling better. But this Vital Reset program, what we do actually is we take and we pare down. I should back up. So we actually start with something that we call the load. And so
People like that.
For it sounds more fun than it actually is, because so we actually eat like 5,000 calories for a couple days. Reason is, and this is for people.
Why?
And
No.
this is for people, right, who are really overweight too, and they're trying to lose weight, and they're like, man, if I touch anything, I gain 5 pounds, right?
Okay.
You have to eat a lot of calories, because what it does is it tells your body, hey, you know what? Everything's okay. We're not in
Starvation.
We're not in starvation. We're not in famine.
Mm-hmm.
There's no scarcity here, right? Everything's okay. And we use some additional hormone balancing homeopathic product. It's just an optimum weight loss management product that just helps to keep their blood sugars balanced, help support their adrenal hormones. We use some organic reishi coffee, actually, which has a ton of health benefits
so reishi
to
is
it.
a mushroom.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then also use an amino acid support.
Okay.
Other than that, it's all diet and lifestyle based.
Okay.
So after those 2 days of load, 5,000 calories. So there's two ways of doing it, right? So for the people who are really clean and they're like, I don't eat all that garbage, right? Well, stay clean. Let's really focus on those good, healthy fats, right? So that we get a lot of those calories in.
Give me a cup of peanut butter. Almond butter.
There you go. But for other people who are like, man, this is a life-changing deal, and I'm going to be saying goodbye to my pizza, my cake, my donuts, and all this stuff for, the next, hopefully forever, but for sure for the next 10 weeks.
Sure.
And this is their final hurrah. So, you know what? Go to town. Like, enjoy your food.
Yeah.
Because in 2 days, this is going to
change. Yeah.
And so after really pushing calories for 2 days, and it's not as easy as you think. Try eating 5,000 calories in a day once.
No.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And by the time that you're even closer, you're full up to your eyebrows. It's just like, oh my word, I can't eat anything more. But again, telling our bodies such good signals. And then what we do is we go into 6 weeks of really focusing on clean eating, where we eat 4 ounces of veggies, 4 ounces of protein, and 4 ounces of fruit. And we do that twice a day. So we do intermittent fasting through the morning.
Mm-hmm.
We do
and then these
those
like
two meals.
Yep.
And beyond that, we meet weekly online where we talk through how to get your body into more of that state of calm, how to eat the right way. And not just what we eat, but how we eat.
Right. Like you're not in a hurry. You're sitting down. You're
Are
chewing your food?
Are you eating in front of the TV?
Sure.
Right? Because then you're not paying attention to what you're doing. You're not enjoying your meal. You're not enjoying the flavors. You're not being mindful. You're not being present. How are you sleeping? Right? So we go through all of these things as a part of the reset every week, and we have a different focus each week. And then after those 6 weeks are done, we have 4 weeks of reintroduction, what we call maintenance, where we get into reintroducing those healthy fats back in.
Okay.
Let's get back into exercise. So you're actually encouraged not to exercise during this program, during those 6 weeks, because we are stressing your body. And actually, if you go and start exercising, you're likely to slow down the progress that you're going to make.
Because that's too much stress on the body.
Too much stress.
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah. And then we bring in healthy carbs, right? And what this program actually does is it resets the metabolism. So a lot of people will go and they'll diet, right? They'll lose 30, 40, 50 pounds. Well, what happens over time? Most times it'll just creep right back up.
Sure.
Because their body thinks that their set point is still where they were. So by doing this in a very systematic way, it brings it down to a new set point. So your body recognizes like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be now. And so it doesn't have this propensity to just gaining all that weight right back.
Sure. And you've had a lot of success with this.
You've seen such amazing results with this. And in fact, so couple stories in particular. So one, she started with us back in January. PCOS, insulin resistance, has gained over 100 pounds and just has really struggled with just energy and not feeling good. She started, and now this is somebody who has, in her mind, has tried everything. Mm-hmm. Right? I mean, she's tried all these different diets, or she's gone to the dietitians, she's gone to the medical doctors, and they've told her, well, you got to eat this way, you got to eat this way, you got to eat breakfast, you got to do this. And every time she tried doing something different, she gained more weight.
So frustrating.
So frustrating. We started this program, And in the first 6 weeks, she lost 35 pounds.
Wow.
After not being able to lose any weight for a decade.
Right.
And so she actually now has the tools to do this on her own.
Sure. Yeah.
So she did it again the second time.
Okay.
And now she's down a total of 55 pounds.
Wow.
So, and she's going to, and we stay in touch, and I give her guidance of like, hey, you know what? Let's maybe not restart the reset too close this time, right?
Sure.
Let's let your body balance out and just make sure that, we're doing things in a healthy manner. But she's on track to lose 70, 80, 90 pounds this year.
Wow. Life-changing, yeah.
I have somebody else that started with us just a few weeks ago. And this is somebody who has a very similar story, except fully diagnosed diabetic, on metformin, okay, also PCOS, has gained a ton of weight, and blood sugars fasting were 150, okay. Now a normal fasting blood sugar should be like 75 to 85-ish. That would be our goal. Okay?
Optimal, yeah.
Yep. So she started out, before we started, with a blood sugar fasting, 150s on metformin, on max dose metformin. So she did her load. We got started in the reset. We got not even a week into the program. She lost, in the first week, she lost 23 pounds.
Wow.
1 week.
1 week.
1 week.
So, I mean, that's
pounds.
probably a ton of, like, inflammation.
Absolutely.
All that
Tons
going.
of inflammation.
Yeah, right.
Well, 1 week, 23 pounds, and her blood sugars went from 150 on metformin to 5 days later, mid-80s off metformin.
Wow.
This program changes people's lives, like, in a hurry.
Yeah.
So I have a group that I'm taking through right now, and I'm transitioning this into a program that people can start anytime.
Okay.
But the group that I have right now, they're about 3 weeks into it. And of this group, multiple of these people have lost over 20 pounds.
Wow.
And like they're seeing, like, they come off blood pressure medicines and they come off diabetes medicines, and it, like, the way this is done is just so effective.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's normal and I kind of expect it now, it still boggles and blows my mind every time that I see these results.
Right. Yeah.
And it's so much fun.
So encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And generally, no, I mean, there's days where people kind of level out, but over a period of 6 weeks, like, people see a decrease in the scale almost every day.
Wow.
Whether it's a half a pound to a pound and a half in a day. And I mean, people's brains start working better. They feel better. They need a new wardrobe, a smaller one.
Right.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
My wife and I did this with our group that started in January.
Yeah.
I lost 22 pounds. My wife lost almost 20 pounds. Like, all of her summer clothes don't fit anymore.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's such a good thing.
Right.
I mean, you just feel so much lighter. You feel so much cleaner. And your body is just working better. Brain's better. I love it. It's really going to be, I think, the flagship of a lot of what we do.
Yeah.
And, the great thing is people can have access to this without having to travel.
Sure.
You can kind of do it on your time. We help give you all the tools you need. So we give you a guide, give you a journal, give you a recipe book. And then there's a Facebook page where there's a community, right? So people have an opportunity to ask questions and post meals they're making and talk about their gains and things they're frustrated about or happy about and how things are going. So
very cool.
It's been fun.
Yeah. So, one thing we didn't really mention is, like, how long have you been doing Valley Vital Medicine?
Yeah, so Valley Vital Medicine, actually next month, so July 2022, will be 3 years old.
3 years, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 years,
Yep.
So that puts us at 2019.
Yep.
Wasn't there a pandemic?
Not quite.
Not quite? Okay.
Not quite.
So
it's summer before the pandemic.
Summer before.
Yep.
So what kind of challenges in your business then did you experience of, like, okay, here I because you were working somewhere else before and you started your own practice.
Yeah. Yeah. So previously I was at Ascension Internal Medicine doing primary care. I was also in the Army Reserve. And so actually in 2018, 2019, the Army sent me to Kuwait. Okay. So I spent about 3 years at Ascension doing primary care. They treated me really well. I really enjoyed it. But while I was there, I was using all my continuing education money on functional medicine.
Okay.
And learning more about it. And so as I was learning more about it, I wanted to do more with it. And it kind of got frustrating because it doesn't mesh as well.
Sure.
Right. So I just had this prodding that, oh man, maybe I need to step out from this. Well, God gave me this opportunity and it was a difficult opportunity, right? Because I was deployed to Kuwait. And so I was deployed and gone from my family for almost a year. But while I was gone, like, God gave me the resources I needed to, like, learn enough about business and structure to feel like, okay, well, maybe I can do this, right? But as a part of nurse practitioner schooling or any medical schooling, you really don't learn anything about business.
Right. No.
And so, I remember sitting down and sending off the email to my manager at Essentia while I was in Kuwait. Of course, my heart's pounding like crazy. I'm like, am I really doing this? Of course, I talked it over with my wife first, and we prayed about it. And I sent off this email saying, basically, thank you. Thank you for everything that you've done for me over the last 3 years. I really appreciate you guys. But God's given me a different opportunity. And so I'm not going to be coming back. And so with that, then allowed me opportunity to come back, spend a little time with my family, but then to be able to launch Valley Vital Medicine. And, it very much is a nerve-wracking experience.
I'm sure.
Going from, hey, this is your guaranteed paycheck, whether you see a patient every hour or not, this is what you can expect to hit your bank account every couple of weeks, to now it's all on me. Right. And you have this doubt in your head, like, are people going to be interested in what we have to offer? Like, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But is there enough people around that care enough and are interested that they're gonna find us and want to work with us
and trust us to do this?
Yeah.
That's a big.
So it's been a huge learning experience.
Sure.
And it did start out slow. In fact, one of the things that I didn't want is for it to start out too fast.
Okay.
Right? Because if it grew too fast, then how do I keep up with it? And I started this out with just me. Mm-hmm. I had no staff for a year and a half.
Wow.
So actually only a year ago now, I brought my first staff people in. So we have a front desk receptionist now and brought in my first nurse a year ago. And since then, I mean, God has blessed us so much. We continue to grow. I have another nurse now. We've created Dakota IV Therapy where we do our IV vitamin therapies. And so we have a couple nurses employed there. And so, I mean, the growth that we've seen in the last year has just been so fun, so exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally, like, stepping out and taking that first initial jump and step that's a pucker factor, like is this really going to happen? Is this something that we're really up for? But yeah,
it seems like it's been like the perfect step that you did take.
It really has been.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what would be some, like, words of advice or encouragement for someone else who, is thinking, like, is there something more for me out there? Is there, I've been dreaming about having my own business or helping out with this or that. Just any, like, words of encouragement that, like, helped you maybe, like, just do it?
Yeah, well, a couple of things with that. I think, first of all, the timing needs to be right. To just jump out and all of a sudden do something without feeling like you have a sense of peace about it would be really, really stressful. Mm-hmm. Like, even though I was nervous about it, I had a real peace about it.
Sure.
Right? Like I said, I really prayed about it and talked it over with my wife and just say, hey, are we on the same page? Are we ready to go with this? And, she gave me the green light. She gave me the go ahead. And so, had she not, I wouldn't have done it. But to have a supportive spouse is just so amazing and so important. And I appreciate her so much. But one of the things that I encourage people to do that I did is kind of start out slow.
Sure.
We were provided with additional opportunity to have some income coming into our home that didn't require me making 100% of my old income right away. That was huge because I didn't have to sacrifice 24 hours a day with my family to start my business, because you know what? My family is so important and they need to be a priority. And so if I'm spending all of my waking hours away from them trying to make this other dream happen, where's my priority in that? And for me, that's not God honoring to do that. Right. And so for me to kind of step out, do that, and do it slowly, kind of step by step, watch it grow slow. And for a lot of people, I've talked to other people too that want to start a business, whether it's, a bike repair business or whatever. And it's just you don't have to have this huge $1 million space to start out in. Start your business in your garage, see what kind of interest there is, and start growing it, getting your name out there, do some networking. So that other people know you and that you are the guy that they're going to come to. And when you start developing that community who's going to vouch for you and start sending you business, well, okay, now you might be ready for a space.
Sure.
Right? I was blessed by having a friend, Tanya Loken, who's a naturopathic doc, has Lagom Wellness. I rent my space from her. Right? I mean, she rented me my room at a reasonable rate, and allowed me to kind of get my feet going. And that was huge. I didn't have to take this huge jumbo loan out to get started. In fact, I didn't take any loans out.
That's awesome.
I mean, I didn't make hardly any money for a long time.
Sure.
Right. But at least now, I mean, it actually got to a point where Amy asked me, and my wife, she asked me, she's, "Are you going to get paid this month? Are you going to pay yourself this month?" And, it took a little while, but it was a slow growth. We always paid our bills as far as the business was concerned. And now we're at a place where we're able to bring some money home every month, which is always encouraging and good, because that's part of the
getting
business.
Paid and
that's
helping
part
people.
Of their, exactly, right? I mean, and being paid to help people find their God-given purpose on earth and be able to do it better because their health is better. That's really my mission and my goal and what I want to do and why I'm here. Because really sometimes we need to thrive through the physical struggle, right?
Sure.
But sometimes there's more of an answer out there that we can get that improves our life so that we can make other people's lives better, because we have the energy now to make an impact on those people. So that's really what my goal is, to help people with that. So
I love it. It's inspiring, encouraging, and to hear those stories too of your clients. I mean, that has to be an encouragement to you and your team too.
I love it.
That you are making a difference, you are making an impact, and then hopefully that just transcends out more and more. So thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. This is fun. It's a great conversation.
Yeah, no, it's so good to hear everything that you're up to, and you're really making a difference in our community. So appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Yeah. Thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, thank you. Wow, what a great episode. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always so inspiring sharing these stories. Remember to like and subscribe below to the YouTube channel to stay caught up with new episodes of New Day with Ashley. And make sure to follow New Day with Ashley and KFGO on all social medias. The links are in the description. I'll see you in the next episode.